Good evening, racers and race fans, and welcome to our full weekend extravaganza here at Tenney Mountain in Plymouth, New Hampshire. We're changing things up quite a bit from the typical Minnesota, Wisconsin, Iowa view that you're used to seeing here with not only MBTV Sports, but also with the Sunday Fun Day series through X Racing. Like I was saying earlier, we are here for a full weekend of packed events here at Tenney Mountain in Plymouth, New Hampshire for the Mountain Sled Fest. We've got Friday, Saturday, and Sunday activities going on here. We've been here since earlier on today. You know, pit parking started up at 1 p.m. here. Registration was at 2. We had our riders meeting, some practice we just finished up with. Now we are going to begin Snocross Racing here in just about 10 minutes or so for our first night of events here. We have 10 races going on here tonight. We're going to be doing 2 rounds of heats, and then we're also going to be doing a final round as well for our first night of racing here at Tenney Mountain for the Mountain Sled Fest. Like I said, we're here tonight for some Snowcross racing action. Tomorrow, we will be back at 9 a.m. Eastern Time for registration for Hillcross tomorrow morning. Hillcross is going on. We're doing some Hillcross racing. That'll start at 11:30 a.m. Eastern Time. Once again, some Hillcross racing. We've got both some short track racing for sleds under 137 inches. We've got some long track racing for sleds over 138 inches. Lots of action going on there for our Hillcross races tomorrow. Once again, that starts at 11:30 a.m. Eastern Time. Then we'll have a slight break after the Hillcross portion of the day before we come back for some Snowcross and your usual Sunday Fun Day racing activities here for the evening. We'll have, once again, 2 heats and a final for the Snowcross portion of the evening like we're having tonight. And then we're going to move into our Sunday Fun Day portion of the evening where we have a heat and then 2 separate finals similar to the event schedule that you have seen at our previous races at ERX Motor Park in Minnesota, back in Elk River, our hometown up there. Like I said, we're back here at Tenney Mountain in Plymouth, New Hampshire for the Mountain Sled Fest. That is our Saturday schedule. We're looking at that for tomorrow. And then Sunday, we will be rounding things out here bright and early. Registration opens at 9 a.m. Eastern Time. And then we will be getting into practice at 11 a.m. Eastern Time. That's also when the spectator gates open here at Tenney Mountain. Before we get into racing action, green flag action at 11:30 a.m. Eastern Time. Once again, a reminder for all of our Minnesota, Wisconsin, Iowa, more Midwest viewers, we will be back at 11:30 a.m. Eastern Time on Sunday for our final round of Sunday Fun Day racing. Once again, we'll be following the usual format with that. So it'll be Heat 1, followed by Final 1, and then we'll do a second section of finals as well. So we will have 2 fully scored portions of racing activity during our Sunday Fun Day events. Back to today's schedule, though, you know, that's what we're here for right now, Friday, March 21st. We've got some Snowcross action going on here. I was saying earlier we have 10 races out there. Starting off, I'll give you a quick sneak peek before we get to some green flag action here in just about 5 minutes or so. But we'll start off, we have 10 races. Race number 1 is going to be SXF Stock 120, SXF Stock 200, and SXF Open 200. That'll be our first race of the evening. Race number 2, SXF Transition 9 to 13, and SXF Junior 16 to 17. Race 3, we have SXF Improve 200. Race 4, SXF Trail. Race 5, SXF ProAm Women, SXF Pro Plus 30, and SXF Plus 25. That will get us to the halfway portion of our first set of heats. Before we get into Race 6, Open 120. Race 7, we have Sport Light and Sport Women. And then Race 8, we have our Prolite Open 600 class mixed in with our Sport class. Race number 9, our second to last race of the of the heats is going to be our junior novice 10 to 13 class and our junior 14 to 15 class. And then rounding out our schedule for race number 10 of 10, we have our Prolite Stock 600 class coming out there. Quite a few competitors, lots of different classes. We were able to scale it down a little bit here. Try to narrow it down. We want to put in a nice good show for all of our viewers out there. So a nice slim 10 races here for the evening. Like I said, we're starting off with a first round of heats, which will lead into our second round of heats, and then we will be finishing off the night with our main section of finals for the evening. Now, we couldn't be out here if it weren't for some of our amazing sponsors. Our two main sponsors that we have this weekend, you know, we got to give our props out to Tenney Mountain. We got to thank them for having us out here. You know, they are going through a bit of a revival here at Tenney Mountain, so we're excited to be a part of this revival here. You know, they've been in the area since about the 1930s, 1932. So, you know, to be added into this part of history for them is absolutely amazing for us. We'd also like to thank one of our other premier sponsors, the National Guard. National Guard's coming out here helping us out for the weekend, making it so that we can bring Sunday Fun Day racing activities all the way from Minnesota out here over to the East Coast in New Hampshire. You know, we got to give a big props for them. Couple other premier sponsors we have on the evening: HK Power Sports, Skidoo, and Can-Am. Now, those are going to be two companies here out of New Hampshire. You know, they got a place in Hooksett, New Hampshire, and also in Laconia, New Hampshire. For those of you that are streaming today's activities live from the New Hampshire area, make sure you give it up to the sponsors that we have here. Give them some support and thank them for supporting us. Along with them, we also have Southside Sales Polaris. Southside Sales Polaris, they started out back in 1969 here in New Hampshire, or actually in Massachusetts, North Adams, Massachusetts. We've got them along for the ride this weekend. And finally, Pranoth Groomers along helping us out here, specializing in producing heavy equipment for challenging conditions. You know, we're excited to have them on to the team. We will be green flag action racing here momentarily, so stick on by.
Go home for the second place spot.
Well, Hazlett coming off of
We're bringing Tenney back to all these youngsters we love. They're all new folks who have skied here before. We're going to ski again. It's really an amazing mountain. We're bringing it back, and we're going to make it better than she's ever been. We get some great ideas, great plans. We're going to be building it for over 20 years. Hotels, housing, new lifts, new trails, mountain biking, disc golf, zip lining, all kinds of really cool stuff. And guys like this, we're going to bring these guys back and even more every season. You know, winter, spring, summer, fall. We have really cool events happening out here. So, welcome to Tenney Mountain. Thank you for coming. This is just the beginning. Become part of the Tenney family. I want to say God bless you and thank you all. And most importantly, God bless America. Let's go!
Welcome back to Mountain Sled Fest here at Tenney Mountain in Plymouth, New Hampshire, where we are live streaming from the East Coast. You know, for some of our viewers over in the Midwest, where you are used to seeing us, that Minnesota, Wisconsin, Iowa area, we have moved things over to the East Coast for this weekend for Tenney Mountain's Mountain Sled Fest as a part of the X Racing Sunday Fun Day events over here at Tenney Mountain. You know, we've gotten through practice for today. We're about to head into our first class of Snocross Racing for the night. Like I was saying earlier before the commercial break, we have 2 rounds of heats today and then a final round. For race number 1, though, we're going to start things off in style. We have 3 separate classes about to hit the track. Each class is going to have a single competitor. You can see their names and the classes up there on the screen. But we've got our stock 120 class. We have the 367 of Henry Aker out of Bristol, Vermont. Aker just a spry 5 years old. In our stock 200 class, we have the 217 of Cassius Wilkinson out of Putnam Station, New York, racing the Skidoo. Wilkinson, sponsored by Wilkes Contracting, Champlain Valley Heating and Plumbing, and Diedrich's Tree Service. And then in our final class of this first race, Open 200, we have the 6X of Lucas Richardson out of Bear, Vermont, racing for Fly Racing, CNA Pro Skis, and Amsoil. We've got our racers lined up. Green light is out, and we are Snowcross Racing here at Tenney Mountain. Early race leader, it's going to be the 6X of Lucas Richardson leading the charge, pulling out for that Open 200 class. He's going to make that straight shot up, pulling away from his other 2 competitors, where we've got a nice little side-by-side battle raging for second and third. Currently in second, it's the 217 of Wilkinson, holding off a charge from the 367 of Aker. Richardson, Wilkinson, Aker, 1, 2, 3 as it currently sits. Now, as a reminder, even though we do have 3 competitors out there battling side by side for the overall race lead, second and third, we actually do have 3 separate classes as one of our riders goes up and over on that first straightaway section, that right-hand straightaway side on the back end of the track. Looks like that may have been the 217 of Wilkinson going up and over. Wilkinson back on their sled, all good to go. But that is going to give the 367 of Aker a chance to get by. Aker now into second place overall. Now, like I was saying before we had that little spill from Wilkinson, even though we do have 3 racers out there battling for the overall race lead, second and third place, we actually have 3 separate classes out here. So this is, this is a great opportunity for these youngsters out here. Like I said, Henry Aker, just a young 5 years old, starting to learn the sport. They got that nice competition going between them. But at the end of the day, it's cool to see all 3 of these riders are going to be taking home the gold in their respective classes. Checkered flag is out, though, and it's going to be Richardson taking the win, the overall race win in that Open 200 class. We're going to give our other 2 racers a chance to get off the track before we get into race number 2 of the evening, our second race here at Tenney Mountain for the Mountain Sled Fest. We've got 2 classes racing in race number 2 tonight. In the transition 9 to 13 class, we have the 10 of Chase Meekin out of Meredith, New Hampshire, racing for HK Power Sports. And in the junior 16 to 17 class, we have the 16 of Brennan Camo from Nashua, New Hampshire, racing the Polaris, just a young 13 years old. And then we have the 81X of Wesley S. Ganchow out of Bethlehem, Connecticut, racing for JRC Transportation on the Skidoo. So we've got 3 racers overall in race number 2 of the evening. 3 racers, 2 classes, one heck of a lot of fun about to hit the track here. Now, like I said, we are out here in New Hampshire, Plymouth, New Hampshire at Tenney Mountain for a full weekend of events here for the Sunday Fun Day series. Green flag is out for race number 2. Looks like 2 of our racers are going to be making the call. Off the bat, we got some nice side-by-side battles going on up through that first front straightaway. Going to make that left-hand turn onto the back stretch. One more left hand onto that front straightaway, up and over that start-finish line tabletop. One of them just about going up and over. Looks like it is the 10 of Chase Meekin that's currently sitting second. Was leading the charge early on, had that scary tumble almost go through. He was able to save it all good, but Meekin is going to drop back to second place overall, which gives the 16 of Brennan Camo a chance to move up to the overall race lead. Now, Camo, racing the 16 to 17 junior class, is going to be in first. Chase Meekin on that 10 machine, right behind in second place overall, actually currently leading the transition 9 to 13 class. So similar to the last race that we had out there, we actually have two separate races going on in this single class, or in this single race right here. Camo leading the charge out there through that rhythm section on the back end of the track, making things look easy. Going up that steep Tenney mountain hill, up and around the corner, going back down, up and over the roller, making their way up and over the start-finish line tabletop. Camo gonna put another lap in the books here. Nice even gap going between our two riders. Camo leading the charge early on for the overall race lead, and it's the 10 of Meekin, currently sitting in second place overall, leading that transition 9 to 13 class. Now, like I said, we have a full weekend of events going on here at Tenney Mountain for Mountain Sled Fest in Plymouth, New Hampshire. Checkered flag is out for Camo. Camo is going to round out our second race here of the evening. We've got some Snocross Racing going on tonight, 2 sets of heats, a final. Tomorrow we're back on Saturday for some Hillcross Racing, Snowcross Racing, and Sunday Fun Day Racing. But right now, race number 3 about to hit the track, 3 of 10. We've got our improved 200 class. 2 racers about to make the line. We have the 6X of Lucas Richardson coming hot off a heat race win earlier on this evening in the Open 200 class. And beside Lucas Richardson, we have the 217 of Cassius Wilkinson. Wilkinson ended up finishing third overall in that first heat race of the night. Wilkinson went up and over on that bottom stretch of the track. All good now, though. Back at it for race number 3, improved 200 stock. We have the 6X of Richardson leading the charge early on out of Bear, Vermont, pulling away from the 217 of Wilkinson. Up and over that start-finish line jump, Wilkinson's going to put another lap in the books in this improved 200 class here, race number 3 of the evening. Richardson looking over his shoulder, checking in on the competition, seeing how much of a gap he has in between the two of them. Nice little space going on in between our two riders as Richardson goes up and over the start-finish line jump. Another lap in the books for the 6X of Richardson. Through turns 1 and 2, up onto the back straightaway. White flag is out. Half a lap more to go for the 6X of Richardson, who looks like they'll be securing their second heat race win of the night. 3 races in, Lucas Richardson just about to make 2 of those 3 heat race wins going on. 217 of Wilkinson making their way up that steep back straightaway there, but checkered flag is out. Give it up for your heat race winner in the improved 200 stock class. It's the 6X of Lucas Richardson taking the win for Fly Racing, CNA Pro Skis, and Amsoil. Up next, race number 4, SXF Trail class. We have 4 competitors hitting the track here today. The 69 of Matthew Parker out of Bristol, Connecticut. The 121 of Benjamin Urso, also from Bristow, Connecticut, racing for 121 Motorsports. JoJo's Gunworks Goodwin Performance, Addison Cable Solutions, Rathburn Performance, Woody's Traction, Land and Sea Power Sports. We got the 127 of Mike Wynn out of Epping, New Hampshire, racing for EAT, Wide Open Throttle Graphics, CNA Skis, Traction Boy, EVS, Rock Speed Effects, Hinks, and Backcountry Addicts. And rounding out your 4 sled field, we have the 316 of Cody Bain out of Bristol, Connecticut, racing the Articat for Addison Cable Solutions, 121 Motorsports, Parker Bros & Co., Land and Sea, Wrench Right, Goodwin Performance, and CNA Skis. Green flag is out, and we are SXF Trail Racing. Looks like 3 of our racers making the call here for the first green flag of their class. Side-by-side battle at the lead of the track between the 121 of Urso, currently leading the charge. 69 of Parker looks to the outside, side-by-side on the back straightaway through the rhythm section. Urso with the early advantage. 69 of Parker gets off to the side. He's pulling off there, making sure everything is okay, as the 316 of Bain pulls off to the side as well to check on his competitor. Making sure everyone is good there as we get out into the weeds on that back straightaway. This leaves the 121 of Urso as our lone racer on the track right now. Parker and Bain checking on each other, making sure everyone is good there. Both our riders are up and ready, but we're going to give our chance for our riders to get back on their sleds. Out front alone, though, it is still the 121 of Urso leading the charge. Looks like we are going to throw the red flag here. Do a quick restart for our racers. For those of you just checking in now, the 69 of Matthew Parker had been sitting in second in this SXF Trail class. Parker was battling for the lead with the 121 of Benjamin Urso. Urso was to the inside, Parker to the outside. Parker bobbled it a bit, went off the track to the right there. 316 of Bain went right to his side, made sure to check up on him. So we're going to give our racers, everyone is back up and ready to go. We're going to give our racers a chance to get relined up, get their sleds all ready to go before we go back to some green flag action here momentarily. As a reminder, we have a full weekend of events going on here at Tenney Mountain in Plymouth, New Hampshire for Mountain Sled Fest weekend. We're here tonight doing some Snowcross racing. We started things off here at just about 6:30 p.m. Eastern time. We have 2 sets of heats tonight, and then we're leading into a final event later on this evening. Then we'll end for the day before we come back bright and early tomorrow morning. Riders meeting at 10 a.m. Eastern time before we get to some Hillcross racing at 11:30 a.m. Eastern. We'll do some Hillcross early on in the morning. Have a nice little break there in the afternoon before we get to some more Snowcross racing and our Sunday Fun Day racing as well. So one thing you are going to notice between the Sunday Fun Day classes and the Snowcross classes, now both of them are going to be similar styles of racing. We are going to be using slightly different tracks. For the Snowcross class, you've been seeing us using that on the back straightaway, that more rhythm section there, right next to the tree line. We're going to be doing a little bit more of an inside course for the Sunday Fun Day racing, but it will be similar types of racing, whereas the Sunday Fun Day is going to be a little bit more on the casual side. You know, more of your weekend warriors might be a little bit newer to the snowmobile racing industry, want to take that sled that they've had in the garage for a couple years, get it up and running, ready to go, but they want to hit a track with it. That'll be more of the Sunday Fun Day crowd, whereas this Snowcross cloud going to be a little bit more of the competitive side. Not that Sunday Fun Day isn't a competitive side of things, but it's going to be a little bit more casual competitive. So tomorrow we'll get a nice little back and forth of the two, doing both Snowcross and Sunday Fun Day events. Tomorrow we'll be doing similar to tonight on the Snowcross side with a 2-heat and main event structure. Whereas on the Sunday Fun Day side, we will be doing 1 heat and 2 main events, so 2 complete shows for our Sunday Fun Day classes, you know, giving them a little bit of extra work in there. as we get our racers for race number 4 all lined up and back ready to go before we get back to some green flag action here. And then going on with what I was saying earlier, we will be back Sunday for our final day here at Tenney Mountain, where we'll be doing some good old-fashioned Sunday Fun Day racing, starting things at 11:30 a.m. Eastern Time here. Once again, we are over on the East Coast at Tenney Mountain in Plymouth, New Hampshire. So we'll be starting at 11:30 a.m. Eastern for 1 round of heats and 2 rounds of finals for our Sunday Fun Day racing on good old Sunday Fun Day. Well, we have this break in the action. I'd be remiss not to chat about some of our amazing sponsors that we have on here. You know, without these sponsors, we wouldn't be able to come here out to the East Coast and share the joy of Sunday Fun Day to Plymouth, New Hampshire and Tenney Mountain. You know, our main sponsors that we have, obviously, we got to thank Tenney Mountain greatly for letting us come out here, you know, build a track on their skiing surface here. You know, we love getting to join this revival that Tenney Mountain has been seeing these past few years, so we got to thank them greatly for letting us join out here in that revival they're having. National Guard, one of our other premier sponsors on the night, we got to thank them. Couldn't be out here without them. Along with them, we also have HK Power Sports Skidoo and Can-Am out of New Hampshire. They're based in both Hooksett, New Hampshire and Laconia. For those of you in the area, make sure you are heading out, supporting them, thanking them for bringing Sunday Fun Day to the East Coast. Along with them, we also have Southside Sales Polaris and Printoff Groomers. All of those companies helping us out here over on the East Coast to bring Sunday Fun Day to this side of the U.S. Looks like we are trying to get things going again to restart race number 4. We have our 3 racers hitting the track right now. Looks like we're doing a casual green flag, and we are back to green flag action here at Tenney Mountain for race number 4, our SXF Trail class, single file. As we go up that rhythm section back straightaway, first time up and over that start-finish line since the restart here. Urso is leading the charge on the 121. Bain on the 316, currently sitting in second, but trying to fight off a battle from Parker right behind him on the 69. Now, Parker was the rider who did go off the track. He was brought to the back on the restart, had been battling for the lead with the 121 of Urso, trying to make that charge back, but now he's got to battle that second-place racer, the 316 of Bain. Checkered flag is out, though. Urso is going to take the W here for SXF Trail class number 4 of the night. Bain is going to end up finishing second, and it'll be the 69 of Parker rounding out your top 3. Race number 5 up next, about to get the green flag. We have 3 different classes out there. In the Pro-Am women class, the 24 of Cecily Bernache out of Ackworth, New Hampshire, racing for Team Southside, Relaxing Company, Redline Oil, Climb, Rock Speed Effects, Frog Skins, Woody's, Traction, and CNA Pro Skis. In the Pro Plus 30 class, we have the 02 of Brian Whaley from Laconia, New Hampshire, racing for HK Power Sports, and the 307 of Jake Lux out of Westernville, New York. And in the Plus 25 class, we have the 58 of Luke Kearney and the 194 of Spencer Delabrure. 5 racers hitting the track. Green flag is out, and we are Pro-Am Women, Pro Plus 30 and Plus 25 racing. First time up and over the start-finish line tabletop. It's going to be the 24 of Cecily Bernache leading the charge. 307 of Jake Lux in second. The 02 of Brian Whaley in third. Then we have the 194 of De La Brewer and the 58 of Kearney rounding out your 5 sled field. Out front alone, though, leading the way. Bernache setting the pace up and over the start-finish line tabletop. Once again, Bernache putting another lap in the books. Lux right behind in second. Whaley in third. Now, even though Lux is currently sitting in second place overall, Lux is leading the Pro Plus 30 class Whaley in third place overall, currently sitting second in that class, but out front alone, leading the charge for the Pro-Am women class. It is the 24 of Bernache. Single file throughout the field, as we've got a nice little battle developing there at the front of the pack. Bernache, currently your overall race leader, up through that rhythm section. Lux putting a charge there on the back straightaway through turns 3 and 4, up and over the start-finish line. Tabletop one more time. Checkered flag is out. Bernache is going to take the heat race win for the Pro-Am women class. Lux is going to finish second. Whaley is going to round out your top 3. And in fourth place overall, taking the win in the plus 25 class. It was a close one, but it looks like it's going to be the 194 of De La Brewer rounding out your field. Race number 6 up next, 6 of 10, SXF Open 120 class. We have the 6X of Lucas Richardson and the 367 of Henry Aker. Looks like we might be having a quick lineup change here, as there's a chance we have actually moved on to race number 7, I believe. Our Sport Light and Sport Women's classes. 4 racers in this class. In the Sport Light class, we have the 9 of Thomas Sylvester out of the Forks Pit, Maine, the 15 of Cody Barnes from Placetown, New Hampshire, and the 81X of Wesley S. Ganshow from Bethlehem, Connecticut. And in the Sport Women class, the lone racer out there, the 58 of Claire DeRapo from Limestone, Maine, racing for Big Dog Construction Company, Pathways Wellness Group, Rave X Motorsports. 4 racers about to take the green flag. Light is out, and we are racing. It's the 15 of Barnes leading the charge early on, as he's got company from the inside. The 81X of Ganshow now taking the win, or taking the lead. Ganshow going to lead this first lap as they put the first lap in the books. Up and over that start-finish line, tabletop. 1, 2, 3, it's Ganshow, Barnes, Sylvester, and DeRapo is going to round out your 4-rider battle there. Ganshow taking that inside line up through that first back straightaway there through that nice rhythm section. Barnes had the outside line, Ganshow to the inside, and Ganshow now setting a blistering pace, pulling away from the rest of the field. Ganshow back onto that back straightaway rhythm section once again, pulling away, and it's now the 93 machine coming up right behind. Or I apologize, the 15 of Barnes. Ganshow, Barnes, Sylvester, 1, 2, 3. White flag is out. One more lap to go for the 81X of Ganshow. Nice little side-by-side action going on there for second and third, I believe. One last time, though, through turns 3 and 4, onto the front straightaway. Checkered flag is flying, and it's going to be the 81X of Wesley Ganshow taking the win here today for JRC Transportation. Barnes going to finish second on the 15, and it'll be the 9 of Sylvester rounding out your top 3, with the 58 of DeRapo rounding out your 4 sled field. DeRapo taking the win in the Sport Women's class. Race number 8 up next. Our Prolite Open 600 class and our Sport class going to be making the call here tonight. In the Prolite Open 600 class, we have the 36 of Corin Todd racing the Southside Sales Polaris, Woody's Traction, CNA Pro Skis, New England Racefield Rock Speed Effects, number 36 out of Morris, New York. And we also have the Cody Ellis piloted number 111 racing for Rave X Straight Line Performance, 850 Co, Rock Speed Effects, and CNA Pro Skis in the SXF Sport class. the 15 of Barnes. And it actually looks like we are now going to be going back to race number 6. I do apologize for that. SXF Open 120 class. We moved around races 6 and 7, so we are back to our Open 120 class. Looks like one of our 2 racers currently making the call, sitting there getting ready for the green flag to hit. The 6X of Lucas Richardson, who's taken 2 heat race wins so far today, might be looking for a 3rd one. We're also supposed to see the 367 of Henry Aker out of Bristol, Vermont. Aker raced in that first heat race today. Ended up taking 2nd place overall at just a young 5 years old. We're hoping to see Aker come out again for race number 6. What has moved to race number 7, our SXF Open 120 class. We're going to give our racers a chance to get all lined up, make sure everyone is good to go. One of our 2 riders currently making the call at the start, Richardson, sitting there ready to go for the Open 120 class. As another quick reminder, wanted to send out a huge thanks to some of our sponsors. We couldn't be here this weekend in the East Coast if it weren't for all of our sponsors today. You know, Sunday Fun Day, X Racing, obviously bringing it us out here from the Midwest. But we also got to thank Fox, Woody's Traction, Studboy Traction, USI Skis, Carbide Podcast, and Durable Trailers. They're a great help to us from bringing this Sunday Fun Day series from Minnesota all the way out here over to the East Coast at Tenney Mountain in Plymouth, New Hampshire. Now, as a reminder, whether you are live streaming this event from your home in Minnesota, Wisconsin, Iowa, or whether you're one of our new streamers here in the New Hampshire area, the Sunday Fun Day series was created here by X Racing over the past couple years. We're typically at our hometown in Elk River, Minnesota, decided to bring things out to the East Coast to bring Sunday Fun Day action out here, further about, spread the love of snowmobile racing across the U.S., and we wanted to bring it out here to lovely Tenney Mountain for the Mountain Sled Fest here in Plymouth, New Hampshire. We'll be here all weekend doing all sorts of activities. We've got Snocross Racing tonight, Hillcross Racing tomorrow morning, some more Snowcross and Sunday Fun Day action tomorrow night, and we'll be rounding out our 3-day racing extravaganza with some racing Sunday morning as we get back to some Sunday Fun Day events. As we finish things up over here, we're going to do some light track prep before our Open 120 class. We'll take a few moments here to hear a word from some of our sponsors.
We go home for the 2nd place spot.
Well, Hazlett coming off of
We're bringing Tenney back to all these young kids in Europe. They're all new folks who have skied here before. You guys skiing again. It's really an amazing mountain. We're bringing it back, and we're going to make it better than she's ever been. We get some great ideas, great plans. We're going to be building it for over 20 years. Hotels, housing, new lifts, new trails, mountain biking, disc golf, zip riding, all kinds of really cool stuff. And guys like this, we're going to bring these guys back and even more every season. Your winter, spring, summer, fall. We got really cool events happening out here. So, welcome to Tenney Mountain. Thank you for coming. This is just the beginning. Become part of the Tenney family. I want to say God bless you and thank you all. And most importantly, God bless America. Let's go!
My name is John O'Connor. I'm a snowboarder for life and a business owner in Windham, New York. We run a restaurant and inn here. This is our backyard. Having a backyard park is really special because being able to snowboard at home and not have to get in the car, go to a resort, wait in the line, is your own creative space to do whatever you want, however you want. You're in your element. You're right at home, and it's a really good feeling when you can tune into the space around you with you and your friends and just make something special of it. The Tow Pro has helped my vision come to life with where I would like to take the backyard setup, and without it, it wouldn't be the same. It's the most easy to use, compact, portable, reliable rope tow that you can buy. It's the best thing that I own as far as what gives me happiness in life. Without it, it's not the same when you're hiking. To be able to keep riding and feel like you're snowboarding, that's what it's all about. And the Tow Pro has made that happen.
Freight is the backbone of the country, and as long as people need goods, they're going to need somebody to get it to them. My name is Matt Bohl with QualityFreightRate.com, powered by T-Force Worldwide. We provide LTL, truckload, and expedited freight services across this country. If your freight weighs over 120 pounds going over 120 miles, that's where my shipping rates kick in. We help companies ship easier for less. With our system, our customers are able to quote and book shipments with ease 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. If you're having trouble with damages, lost freight, claims of any sort, we can help you with our experience, solve the problem, tell you why it's happening and what you should do to prevent it in the future. Me and my team have been together for over 20 years. We know this industry. We can help all size business, big or small. We love them all, but we have a special spot for small business. Small businesses are pillars in the community. Low rates are critical for a small business because the margins are generally pretty small. They need to have competitive rates. They can't be getting gouged or they lose the sale. Freight is simple. People make it difficult. We work as consultants in the industry, so it doesn't matter what your problem is, we'll solve it. We educate the customers, we solve problems, and we lower their shipping rates. And that's what I've been doing for 20 plus years.
And welcome back to Sunday Funday action here at Tenney Mountain in Plymouth, New Hampshire, where we're all ready to go back to green flag action for race number 7 of the evening, Open 120 class. We've got one rider making the call, the 6X of Lucas Richardson, going to be taking the green flag here for race number 7. Richardson, already a 2-time heat race winner on the evening, about to make it a 3-time winner of the evening. As we get stuck It looks like we actually have the 367 of Henry Aker out there. So it's Aker racing the Open 120 class, but we've actually got him stuck there at the top of this steep hill. As a reminder, we are out here at Tenney Mountain in Plymouth, New Hampshire for our Mountain Sled Fest. And this nice steep hill that's up there gonna cause some issues for some of these smaller sleds there. We are able to get the 367 of Aker back up and running. Aker out here for their second heat race of the night. Aker raced in heat race number 1 in the stock 120 class. Ended up taking second place overall in the class. We had a few different classes out there, but was able to take the win in his stock 120 class. Now, hitting the road in the Open 120 class, he's back up to the top of the hill, back under power, and we are back to green flag action here. Nice battle going on there between Aker and the Snow as he gets stuck again in between turns 3 and 4 of the track. Our flagger out there helping out the 367 of Henry Aker, making sure that his sled is all good to go there. You know, we've got some steep conditions up here, some really thick snow. We're pretty lucky to be out here this weekend. We had just about 24 hours of some intense rainfall over the past day here in Plymouth, New Hampshire. Messed with some of the snow, made it a lot thicker snow conditions than what some of these racers are used to. But Aker is back up and running, going through that downhill section on the front end straightaway there. Gonna take the white flag. One more lap to go for the 367 of Henry Aker out of Bristol, Vermont. Aker, just a young 5 years old. Now this is going to be one of the futures of our sport, ladies and gentlemen. So we definitely want to keep an eye here on young Henry Aker. You know, giving him a chance here, just 5 years old, letting him learn about the racing environment here. You know, he's out there racing that Open 120 class on the Polaris, taking that inside line through that steep uphill section on the back end of the track. Race number 7 out there. As a reminder, we have 10 races going on this evening in this first section of heats. First section of heats out there now, 10 classes overall. In between heats 1 and 2, we are going to have a short break going on here. So we'll have about a 20-minute break after race number 10 before we get back to green flag action for heat number 2, as the checkered flag is out for Henry Aker on the 367, taking the win in the Open 120 class. Up next, race number 8 of the evening, 2 classes, Prolite Open 600. We have 2 competitors in this class, the 36 of Corin Todd out of Morris, New York. Todd racing for Southside Sales, Polaris, Woody's Traction, CNA Pro Skis, New England Race Fuel, and Rock Speed Effects, along with the 111 of Cody Ellis racing for Ravex, Straight Line Performance, 850 Co, Rock Speed Effects, and CNA Pro Skis out of Middleton, Massachusetts. In the SXF Sport class, we have 5 competitors here. The 15 of Cody Barnes from Plaistown, New Hampshire. Barnes raced a little bit earlier on this evening. Ended up doing pretty well in his heat races. Took second place overall in the Sport Light class. Now battling for hopefully a win on his part in the Sport class. We have the 24 of Cecily Bernache, who took the win earlier on in one of the heat races out of Ackworth, New Hampshire, racing for Team Southside, Relax & Company, Redline Oil, Climb, Rock Speed Effects, Frog Skins, Woody's Traction, and CNA Pro Skis. The 81X of Wesley Ganschow, also hot off a heat race win out of Bethlehem, Connecticut. Racing for JRC Transportation, we have the 194 of Spencer De La Brewer out of Ham Lake, Minnesota, making the trek all the way out from Minnesota here to keep racing this Sunday Fun Day series here at Tenney Mountain for Mountain Sled Fest weekend in Plymouth, New Hampshire. Carbide Podcast, Woody's X Racing, Ridge, Dennis Kirk sponsored, and the 918 of Hunter Riley also making the charge here. Green flag is out, and we are racing for our Sport and Pro Prolite Open 600 class through turns 3 and 4 onto the front straightaway. Nice little battle going between the 81X of Ganschow and the 15 of Barnes. Ganschow, your current race leader. Barnes hot on his tail in second as we get onto that back straightaway through the rhythm section there. Top two riders out front making their way through turns 3 and 4 back onto that front straightaway section. Another lap in the books for the 81X of Ganschow and the 15 of Barnes. Side-by-side battle for third and fourth raging as well. On the inside, it is the 80 machine currently sitting in third. Nice little battle there going on for third and fourth. Still raging out front, though, a nice little battle for first and second between Ganschow and Barnes. Ganschow, your current race leader, gets a little slideways in turn 2. That gives Barnes the chance to pull up to their side. Battle still raging for third and fourth just behind them. A little bit of space before we get back to our fifth place rider, the 194 of Spencer De La Brewer out of Ham Lake, Minnesota. Minnesota currently racing in that fifth place position, but out front, checkered flag is out for your heat race winner, the 81X of Wesley Ganschow, taking the win for JRC Transportation. Barnes gonna finish second. Up next, race number 9, we have two classes about to hit the track. Junior Novice 10 to 13, we have the 16 of Brennan Camo from Nashaw, New Hampshire, and the 41 of Cooper Barnes out of Sandown, New Hampshire. And in our SXF Junior 14 to 15 class, we have the 10 of Chase Meekin out of Meredith, New Hampshire, racing for HK Power Sports. 3 racers about to hit the track for race number 9. 3 racers, 2 classes, 1 overall heat race winner is what we're about to see. Starting line checks the riders, makes sure they are all good to go. Checking them out at the line. One of our riders gonna reposition themselves, make sure that they are all set to get ready for some green flag action here. As a reminder, race number 9 out on the track now. We have 10 races in this first section of heats. Then we're going to take about a 20-minute intermission between our first and second round of heats before we get back to heat number 2, or round of heats number 2, where we'll run through all of these yet again. Back on the track, though, race number 9. Our riders at the starting gate getting all ready to go. Lights are out, and we are racing. Nice little side-by-side battle at the back of the field. Starting out early on as one of our competitors pulling away from the rest of the crowd up through that steep rhythm section on the back end of the field. That battle's now developing between our top 2 riders through turns 3 and 4, up and over the start finish line jump. First lap is going to be in the books for the 41 of Barnes. Barnes leading the way. Camo currently sitting second on the 16, and it's the 10 of Meekin rounding out your 3 sled field. Barnes up front through that rhythm section. Camo hot on his tail, just about 2 jumps behind him, trying to make up some lost ground from that start. It was the 41 of Barnes, had just a rocket start out of that start gate, able to pull away from the rest of the field, but now it's Camo trying to make up some ground that was lost during that start. Up and over the start-finish line jump. Just about 5 sled lengths separate our top 2 competitors. Barnes going through that outside line along with the 16 of Camo. Barnes going to duck down to the inside of that rhythm section. Camo opting to stay in the middle line there. and it looks like Barnes is going to have the preferred line there. Barnes able to pull away quite a bit from the 16 of Camo through that rhythm section as we go through turns 3 and 4, up and over the start-finish line jump. White flag is out. One more lap to go for the 41 of Cooper Barnes. Cooper Barnes leading the novice 10 to 13 class ahead of the 16 of Brennan Camo. Little bit of space back before we get to the 10 of Chase Meekin, currently sitting third place overall, but leading that junior 14 to 15 class. One last time through turns 3 and 4 at the top of the ski slope there. We're going to get back onto the front straightaway. Checkered flag is flying for your heat race winner. The 41 of Cooper Barnes going to take the win today. Brennan Camo going to finish second in the novice 10 to 13 class, and finishing third place overall, taking the win in the junior 14 to 15 class is going to be the 10 of Chase Meekin. One last class to go. Race number 10, Prolite Stock 600. We have the 8X of Ryan DuPont out of Canterbury, Connecticut. 16 of Colton Gillian out of East Fairfield, Vermont. The 19 of Salvatore LeBeau from Dalton, Massachusetts. 36 of Corin Todd out of Morris, New York, racing for Southside Sales, Polaris, Woody's, CNA Pro Skis, New England Race Fuel, and Rock Speed Effects. We have the 111 of Cody Ellis, racing for Ravex, Straight Line Performance, 850 Co, Rock Speed Effects, CNA Pro Skis out of Middleton, Massachusetts. 307 of Jake Lux out of Westernville, New York. 367 of Wade Aker out of Bristol, Vermont. And the 422 of Camden Duffy rounding out the field from Richmond, New Hampshire, racing for JRC Transportation, DRR Transportation, Skidoo, Fly Racing, and Elite Motorsports. Looks like 7 of our 8 competitors are making the starting lineup here for our final race of the first round of heats here. For night number 1 at Tenney Mountain, green flag is out, and we are Prolite Stock 600 Racing, as we've got a 3-wide battle for the lead up through that back straightaway rhythm section. One rider going up and over toward the top. Out front alone, though, leading the charge early on, it's the 422 of Duffy, your early race leader. 367 of Aker in second, the 8X of DuPont in third. Top 3 riders all running fairly close to each other. The 422 of Duffy with a slight advantage. They're going to make it through that caution section on the back straightaway as they go by our downed rider. Everyone gets by clear. Out front, though, it's still Duffy, Aker, and DuPont 1, 2, 3. Duffy leading the charge, got a little bit of space as now we've got a battle raging for second and third. Aker and DuPont side by side, trying to take over those final 2 spots on the podium. A little bit of space before we get back to the 307 of Lux, the 16 of Gillian, and the 111 of Ellis. Duffy, Aker, DuPont, still your top 3. As we make our way back onto the back straightaway through that tough uphill rhythm section. Checkered flag is flying. Duffy is going to take your heat race win. Camden Duffy taking the W for JRC Transportation, DRR Transportation, Skidoo Fly Racing, and Elite Motorsports. It'll be Wade Aker on the 367 finishing second, and Ryan DuPont on the 8X rounding out your top 3. That is race number 10, our final race of our first round of heats. As a reminder, we're going to take about a 20-minute intermission before we get back to some green flag action here momentarily. So for all of those live streaming here on MBTVsports.com, feel free to stand up, take a walk around, stretch your legs, grab some food, run to the restroom, and we will be back for some live coverage of our Mountain Sled Fest here at Tenney Mountain in Plymouth, New Hampshire for Sunday Fun Day in just about 15 minutes. We will see you all soon.
We're bringing Tenney back to all these youngsters in Europe. They're all new folks who have skied here before. You guys ski again. It's really an amazing mountain. We're bringing it back, and we're going to make it better than she's ever been. We get some great ideas, great plans. We're going to be building it for over 20 years. Hotels, housing, new lifts, new trails, mountain biking, disc golf, zip riding, all kinds of really cool stuff. And guys like this, we're going to bring these guys back and even more every season. You know, winter, spring, summer, fall. We have really cool events happening out here. So, welcome to Tenney Mountain. Thank you for coming. This is just the beginning. Become part of the Tenney family. Also, God bless you and thank you all. And most importantly, God bless America. Let's go!
You go home for the second place spot.
Well, Hazlett coming off of
Freight is the backbone of the country, and as long as people need goods, they're going to need somebody to get it to them. My name is Matt Bohl with QualityFreightRate.com, powered by T-Force Worldwide. We provide LTL, truckload, and expedited freight services across this country. If your freight weighs over 120 pounds going over 120 miles, that's where my shipping rates kick in. We help companies ship easier for less. With our system, our customers are able to quote and book shipments with ease 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. If you're having trouble with damages, lost freight, claims of any sort, we can help you with our experience, solve the problem, tell you why it's happening and what you should do to prevent it in the future. Me and my team have been together for over 20 years. We know this industry. We can help all size business, big or small. We love them all, but we have a special spot for small business. Small businesses are pillars in the community. Low rates are critical for a small business because the margins are generally pretty small. They need to have competitive rates. They can't be getting gouged or they lose the sale. Freight is simple. People make it difficult. We work as consultants in the industry, so it doesn't matter what your problem is, we'll solve it. We educate the customers. We solve problems, and we lower their shipping rates. And that's what I've been doing for 20 plus years.
My name is John O'Connor. I'm a snowboarder for life and a business owner in Windham, New York. We run a restaurant and inn here. This is our backyard. Having a backyard park is really special because being able to snowboard at home and not have to get in the car, go to a resort, wait in the line, is your own creative space to do whatever you want, however you want. You're in your element. You're right at home, and it's a really good feeling when you can tune into the space around you with you and your friends and just make something special of it. The Tow Pro has helped my vision come to life with where I would like to take the backyard setup, and without it, it wouldn't be the same. It's the most easy to use, compact, portable, reliable rope tow that you can buy. It's the best thing that I own as far as what gives me happiness in life. Without it, it's not the same when you're hiking. To be able to keep riding and feel like you're snowboarding, that's what it's all about. And the Tow Pro has made that happen.
My two passions in life is racing and selling good high-end meat. So my grandfather came here from Germany back in the late 20s. He decided to open his own shop in 1951. He had all the recipes, he had all the talent. His father was a meat guy. His father's father was a butcher. They weren't football players, basketball players. They were in the meat business. And that's our family. That's what we're good at. Old World Meats was derived from Frank's Meats. That was my grandfather's name. I know the quality of my beef is the best because I've purchased it directly from the ranchers that certified Angus beef. We know what our beef is continuously and it's very consistent. So we're located up here in Duluth on beautiful Lake Superior, just a stone throw off of Highway 61. I've lived here my whole life and it's where I wanted to raise my family. To be successful, you need to have a talent. And I knew I was going to be in the meat business. I can taste spices, I can pick out flavors, where they need to come in, where they need to stop. So knowing your strengths are important and knowing where you came from. We have a hot snack stick that's got actually 8 different spices of heat in that, and it layers the flavors in the heat. That's what makes the difference with our product. The most exciting part was becoming coast to coast with the Old World Meats snack sticks. My neighbor stopped me on the street and said, "Paul, I was just down in Georgia and this gas station had your product." It was one of the highlights of the year. I don't know of a state at this point that we haven't had product in. Being in business in a small town really puts things into perspective. It's the little things for me to be appreciated and respected. So this whole operation here, it doesn't have to be the biggest, but it needs to have passion. And today, I'm changing lives of people that work with me. My guys are learning lifelong skills and values. That's the good stuff. Let's make the world a better place. Let's have a good time at it.
When you've got to ship it from anywhere to anywhere,
QualityFreightRate.com.
the LTL Freight Logistics Specialist for your small business.
QualityFreightRate.com.
We simplify shipping, eliminate those surprise charges, and negotiate the best rates from most LTL qualified carriers.
QualityFreightRate.com.
Special residential and liftgate rates available for automotive and ag implements.
QualityFreightRate.com.
Use the promo code ICE and get 10% off your first shipment. Startup is so easy. Get a quote and ship today. QualityFreightRate.com.
You go home for the second place spot.
Well, Hazlett coming off of
Good evening and welcome back, race fans, to night number 1 of Mountain Sled Fest here at Tenney Mountain in Plymouth, New Hampshire. Sunday Funday has made the move from the Midwest, Minnesota, where we're normally used to seeing these Sunday Funday races, out to the East Coast to have some adventures over here at Tenney Mountain in Plymouth, New Hampshire for their Mountain Sled Fest weekend. We are here tonight. We just finished our first round of heats for the evening. A little bit earlier on, we're about to move into our second round of heats. Then we'll have a nice little break once again before we get into our main events of the night. So that being said, heat round number 2 about to hit the track. We have 10 races hitting the track tonight for our second round of heats. Starting things up though, race number 1, we have 3 riders in 3 separate classes for this first heat race of the night. Your overall heat 1 race winner in the Open 200 class was the 6X of Lucas Richardson out of Bear, Vermont, racing for Fly Racing, CNA Pro Skis, and Amsoil. Finished second overall, winning the Stock 120 class. We have the 367 of Henry Aker out of Bristol, Vermont. Just a spry 5 years old. And rounding out our 3-sled field, the lone entry in the Stock 200 class, we have the 217 of Cassius Wilkinson out of Putnam Station, New York, racing the Skidoo. Sponsored by Wilkes Contracting, Champlain Valley Heating and Plumbing, and Diedrich's Tree Service. 3 racers getting all lined up, about to hit the track for the first heat race of our second round of heats here at Tenney Mountain. As a reminder, we will be out here live streaming the events all weekend for Mountain Sled Fest as a part of the Sunday Funday X Racing series that has been brought out to Plymouth, New Hampshire. We're here tonight doing some Snocross racing. Like I said, we had a first round of heats earlier on. We're about to begin our second round of heats. We have a main event coming up after that. Tomorrow we will be back early on in the morning at 11:30 a.m. Eastern Time doing some Hillcross racing. We have both short track and long track competitors going to be hitting the track there. And then following up with that later on in the evening, we'll be back to some Snowcross racing like you're seeing tonight. And then we're also bringing the Sunday Funday racing series out here, very similar to the Snowcross that you've been seeing so far this weekend. Slightly different track, and it'll be a little bit different type of competitors, a little bit more of the weekend warrior style, if you will. Kind of just grabbing your sled from home. You may not be a full-time racer racing a full race series, but we still want to be able to bring them all out for you guys. So that is what the Sunday Funday series is going to be like. We have that coming up tomorrow night. And then Sunday, we will be back for our final day of racing here at Tenney Mountain in Plymouth, New Hampshire, for our Sunday Funday races, round number 2. We're starting at 11:30 a.m. Eastern Time, where we'll be doing 1 set of heats and 2 sets of finals for the Sunday Funday racing series. So once again, we're here all weekend long at beautiful Tenney Mountain in Plymouth, New Hampshire. Now, great facilities out here. We've been loving it so far. We may only be 1 day in, but Tenney Mountain, big history here, been around since the 1930s. They're going through a bit of a revival over the last couple years. It's been a major comeback for Tenney Mountain that started back in the 2022-2023 season. They're bringing some of this momentum in over these past few years, and one of the things they're doing to do so is by bringing in some Snowcross racing here. We have a historied past with the crew here. Wanted to bring some Sunday Funday competition over to the East Coast to get some action going here at beautiful Tenney Mountain. Tenney Mountain, one of our main sponsors here for the night, so we definitely want to thank them out for bringing us out here. National Guard, also one of our main sponsors here for the night, along with HK Power Sports, Skidoo Can-Am, and Southside Sales Polaris, and Prinoth Groomers. Green light is out for race number 1, and we are racing Three competitors hitting the track early on. One of our racers pulling away from the rest of the crowd. If my eyes do not deceive me, I'm going to guess that's the 6X of Lucas Richardson leading the charge here, taking the first green lap of the second round of heats up and over that start-finish line tabletop. Richardson going to put the first lap into the books, leading the charge, doing just what he did during the first round of heats. Richardson out front all alone with almost half a lap advantage over the second place racer. Looks like that is the 217 of Cassius Wilkinson's currently holding on to second. Third place overall, currently sitting the 367 of Aker. It's Richardson, Wilkinson, Aker, 1, 2, 3. Out front alone, though, it's still the 6X of Lucas Richardson leading the charge. About to put another lap in the books. Up and over that start-finish line tabletop. White flag is out. One more lap to go for our racers. It's Richardson, Wilkinson, Aker, 1, 2, 3. As the checkered flag is out, Richardson gonna take the second heat race win of the night in this class. Wilkinson going to finish second, and it's going to be Aker rounding out your top three in race number 1. Race number 2 up next. We have 2 classes, 3 competitors overall. In the junior 16 to 17 class, we have heat race winner, the 16 of Brennan Kamau, and out of Nashua, New Hampshire. And the 81X of Wesley S. Ganschow out of Bethlehem, Connecticut, racing for JRC Transportation. And in the transition 9 to 13 class, taking the heat race win earlier on in the first round of heats, the 10 of Chase Meekin out of Meredith, New Hampshire, racing for HK Power Sports. 3 competitors about to hit the track for race number 2 of heat number 2. Looks like we're bringing the groomer back out onto the track momentarily. Just getting everything resituated before we get into our second race of heat number 2. Once again, it'll be that transition 9 to 13 class, and the junior 16 to 17 class, race 2 of 10 for our second round of heats. We went through 10 races earlier through the first round. Going to go through those 10 once again here, making sure we get all of our lineups in order before we get to, our main event action, the moments we've all been waiting for tonight, where we will once again go through all 10 of these races, and that is where the money is going to be sitting. We have a couple money classes racing out here tonight. Looks like 4 classes racing for some big bucks. Our Prolite Stock 600 class, Pro-Am Women, Pro Plus 30, and Prolite Open 600. Going to be racing for some dollar bills. Rest of our classes racing for some nice gold, silver, bronze accompaniments. But as we're lined back up for race number 2, getting everyone ready to go in the starting gate, our racers are checking the line, getting all prepared. We're still going to give them a couple seconds here before we get back to some green flag action. Just making sure everything is set to go, not only for our racers, but for the track as well. As that green light finally comes out, looks like 2 of our 3 racers making the call here for race number 2. I believe out front, That looks like it might be the 16 of Brennan Camo leading the charge. First lap into the books as we go up and over that start-finish line tabletop. Camo going to be your early race leader. Right behind him, the 10 of Chase Meekin, currently sitting in second place overall, leading the 9 to 13 class. Nice little gap separating our top two riders. Camo out front looking to do what he did during that first round of heats and take another heat race win in the 16 to 17 class. Right behind him in second, Chase Meekin, currently sitting second place overall, but leading that transition 9 to 13 class. Nice even spacing between our two racers as the 16 of Camo makes his way up through that steep uphill rhythm section over on the back end of the track. Trying to wheelie up through all of those nice little humps we got going on over there. Through turn 4, back onto that front straightaway. White flag is out. One more lap to go for the 16 of Brennan Camo out of Nashaw, New Hampshire. Coming out of turn 2 onto the back straightaway. Now 2 turns separating our top 2 competitors as we make our way into that rhythm section one final time for race number 2. Camo going to make his way through those deep left-hand turns up at the very top of that Tenney Mountain Hill, back onto the front straightaway, and checkered flag is out for the 16 of Brennan Camo, going to take the win in the 16 to 17 class. Meekin going to finish second place overall, but with the win in the transition 9 to 13 class for HK Power Sports. Race number 3 we have up next. Another 2 racers in this one. Improved 200 stock class. We have the 6X of Lucas Richardson out of Bear, Vermont. Sponsored by Fly Racing, CNA Pro Skis, and Amsoil, hoping to take what might be his 4th heat race win of the night. Followed behind him, the 217 of Cassius Wilkinson out of Putnam Station, New York, racing for Wilkes Contracting, Champlain Valley Heating and Plumbing, and Diedrich's Tree Service on the Skidoo. Wilkinson, just a young 7 years old, still getting used to the sport. Richardson, the expert in this class, just a mere 10 years old, as they get the green light. Battle of the youngsters, side by side up that hill. Slight advantage on the inside to the 217 of Wilkinson, but it's the 6X of Richardson hot on their tail. Side by side battle up through that steep outside line up to the top of Tenney Mountain. Richardson still on the outside, looking to duck down below. Richardson now your sole leader as we get onto the front straightaway. First lap in the books for the 6X of Richardson taking over the lead. Richardson making his way down to the bottom of the hill, that deep left-hand turn. Both riders opting to take the outside section of that left hand through turn number 1 as we get back up onto the back straightaway. Now with these small sleds up there, we've been seeing them have a little bit of issue getting up there. They're doing really well right now, but they've definitely been pushing it to get up that steep Tenney Mountain ski hill. They both make their way up as the 6X of Richardson puts another lap in the books there. White flag is out. One more lap to go for the 6X of Bear, Vermont's Lucas Richardson. 217 of Wilkinson getting up on those front skis there on that front straightaway tabletop. Definitely putting those shocks to the test. Holding on pretty well. Battling in that second place position overall as they make their way back onto the back straightaway there. One last time up that steep Tenney Mountain Hill before we get to that left hand through 3 and 4. Checkered flag is out though for your heat race winner, the 6X of Lucas Richardson, taking the W, sweeping the heat race in this class. Wilkinson gonna finish second. Up next, race number 4, our SXF Trail class. We have 4 competitors here. Heat race winner was the 121 of Benjamin Urso out of Bristol, Connecticut, Racing for 121 Motorsports, JoJo's Gunworks, Goodwin Performance, Addison Cable Solutions, Rathburn Performance, Woody's Traction, Land and Sea Power Sports. Finished second in the heat race, the 316 of Cody Bain out of Bristol, Connecticut. Racing for Addison Cable Solutions, 121 Motorsports, Parker Bros & Co., Land and Sea, Wrenchwright, Goodwin Performance, and CNA Skis. We have the 69 of Matthew Parker, also out of Bristol, Connecticut. And rounding out our 4-sled field, we have the 127 of Mike Wynn out of Epping, New Hampshire. Racing for ET, Wide Open Throttle Graphics, CNA Pro Skis, Traction Boy, EVS Rock Speed, Hinks, and Backcountry Addicts. 4 racers for race number 4. 3 of our racers coming out of Bristol, Connecticut. We got the Bristol crowd making waves in the trail class tonight. Lineup is all good to go. We're going to give our racers the check, make sure everyone is set and ready before we get to some green flag action. There we go. Green flag is out, and we are trail racing. 2 racers up front, side by side. The battle is for the lead. One of our racers drawing back a little bit. Looks like that was the 69 of Parker battling for the lead. Had some issues during the heat race earlier on. Ended up finishing 3rd. Felt the same way, battled for the lead, then ended up battling for 2nd. Bringing his way up, rough landing for Parker. He's able to hold on to it. But out front alone, though, it's still the 121 of Urso leading the charge. Urso, Parker, and Bain are 1, 2, 3. Single file up through that steep rhythm section on the back end of the track. Through turns 3 and 4, back onto the front straightaway. Another lap in the books for the 121 of Urso leading the charge. Parker clearing the tabletop right behind him. Rough landing. Gonna lose part of his sled plastics there. He's had a couple rough landings there. Losing a side panel this time by. Still holding on to the sled, though. That's all that matters. He's still running. Not scared to take a pretty big jump there. As we watch this track cam right behind him. Gonna make it a little safer up and over this tabletop this time around. Didn't want to do what he did last time by. Takes the inside line, gets side by side through turn 2. Tries to pull up. Urso gonna duck down and take over that sole lead position once again. Urso's definitely doing pretty well through that rhythm section. Parker trying to give him chase, though. Parker looks to the outside. Nothing going there through turn 3. Charges through the outside, through turn 4, side by side, up to the start-finish line jump. Parker is your new race leader. As he goes up, he goes around. Urso goes up and over, side by side with him, though. Now that is an eventful way to end the race. Parker taking the heat race win away from Urso. Urso gonna finish 2nd. Let's take a look at this replay. Goes for that hard charge. Ends up going down, not able to hold on to it. But his buddy, Matthew Parker, there by his side, fresh off a heat race win. Gonna give him a hand back onto the sled. That was race 4. Up next, race number 5, 3 different classes. Heat race winner was the 24 of Cecily Bernache in the Pro-Am women's class. In the Pro Plus 30 class, we had heat race winner the 307 of Jake Lux and the 02 of Brian Whaley. And in the Plus 25 class, we had the 194 of Spencer De La Brewer and the 58 of Luke Kearney rounding out your field. 5 racers in race number 5. 5 racers, 3 classes. Looks like we're going to give Parker a chance to get off the track. Having some issues with his sled after some of those rough landings there during the last race. Going to make sure everything is all set and ready to go. He's back up on his sled. Going to see if he can get things refired before we can get back to some green flag action. The sled is all good to go. Lights are up, and away he goes. which will allow us to go back to some green flag action here in just a moment. Race number 5, Pro-Am Women, Pro plus 30 and plus 25. Now this is definitely going to be a class to watch during the features, as 2 of these are money classes. Starting gate is ready to go. We'll check the lights. And away we go. Lights are out. It's a 3-sled battle up front, side by side for the lead, but only one can reign supreme up front. Onto the front straightaway. Nice 3-rider battle for the lead. Up and over that start-finish line jump. 1, 2, 3. Early race leader. Nice side-by-side battle. Looks like it's the 307 of Jake's Lux. Early leading on the inside. Trying to push off a battle going on with the 24 of Bernache. It's Lux, Bernache, Whaley, 1, 2, 3. Following just behind them, the 58 of Kearney and the 194 of De La Brewer rounding out your field. Now Lux out front, all alone, leading the charge in the Pro plus 30 class. In second place overall, currently leading the Pro-Am women's class, is the 24 of Cecily Bernache. Now Bernache, even though sitting second overall, is leading that class, but she's got some company right behind her in that race for third place overall. It's the 02 of Brian Whaley, currently sitting second in the plus 30 class, trying to make some moves up past the 24 of Bernache. Through turns 3 and 4, a nice little side-by-side battle raging there, as one rider almost goes up and over the side. The 02 of Brian Whaley getting pretty close to the outside there. Checkered flag is out, though, and it is going to be Lux taking the win. Bernache finishing second overall. Whaley in third. Race number 6 up next. Sport Light heat race winner was the 81X of Wesley Ganschow, the 15 of Cody Barnes, the 9 of Thomas Sylvester, and in the Sport Women's class, we have the lone entry, the 58 of Claire DeRapo out of Limestone, Maine. 4 riders, 2 classes in race number 6 of the evening. We're going to give our racers from race number 5 a chance to get off the track, make sure everything is clear before we get back to some green flag action. There, our last rider has made their way off. Taking a look behind these 4 riders about to hit the green light. Flagman checks the riders, makes sure they are all set and ready to go. As we're taking a sec to get that track giving our riders a chance to get all prepared here before we get back to some green flag action. As a reminder, we are officially halfway through our second round of heats on the evening. 5 races in, about to go 5 races out before we get to our main events later on today. Looks like we're bringing the track groomer out here momentarily. Do a little bit of track prep here before we get back to some green flag action. Well, we give our Well, we give our groomer a chance to get the track re-prepared here. We're going to go to a quick commercial break before we get back to some green flag action momentarily.
He go home for the second place spot.
Well, Hazlett coming off of
We're bringing Tenney back to all these youngsters in Europe. They're all new folks who have skied here before. You guys ski again. It's really an amazing mountain. We're bringing it back, and we're going to make it better than she's ever been. We get some great ideas, great plans. We're going to be building it for over 20 years. Hotels, housing, new lifts, new trails, mountain biking, disc golf, zip riding, all kinds of really cool stuff. And guys like this, we're going to bring these guys back and even more every season. You know, winter, spring, summer, fall. We're going to have really cool events happening out here. So, welcome to Tenney Mountain. Thank you for coming. This is just the beginning. Become part of the Tenney family. Also, God bless you, thank you all. And most importantly, God bless America. Let's go!
And we're back to some Sunday Fun Day racing here at Tenney Mountain for Mountain Sled Fest weekend in Plymouth, New Hampshire. We're doing a little quick track prep here, but it looks like we are about to be back to some green flag action here in just a second. Our racers getting all restarted over here, refired up in the starting gate as we are ready to go. Lights are out and away we are holding. Green lights are out, and here we go. We are back to some green flag action. Three-rider battle up at the front of the field, turning into a side-by-side battle with one lone leader up through turns 3 and 4 on the top section of that Tenney Mountain racetrack. Up and over the start-finish line tabletop. First lap officially in the books for the 15 of Cody Barnes leading the way. Nice little side-by-side battle. It's Ganschow, Barnes, 1-2. Little bit of space before we get back to our third and fourth place competitors. Out front alone, though, another lap in the books for the 81X of Ganschow. Single file throughout the field as we make our way up through that rhythm section on the back end of the track onto the front straightaway. Another lap in the books for the 81X of Ganschow leading the way. Barnes still sitting in second. DeRapo right behind in third. On the back straightaway, Ganschow putting in an absolutely blistering pace. Back up on the front straightaway, white flag is out. One more lap to go for the 81X of Wesley Ganschow out of Bethlehem, Connecticut. Ganschow leading the charge. Barnes hot on his tail. Onto the front straightaway. Checkered flag is out for our racers. Ganschow going to take the win. Barnes in second. DeRapo in third. Sylvester in fourth. Race number 8 up next in the sport class, or in the Prolite 600 class. We have the 36 of Corin Todd out of Morris, New York, and the 111 of Cody Ellis out of Middleton, Massachusetts. In the sport class, fresh off a heat race win, we have the 81X of Wesley Ganschow from Bethlehem, Connecticut, the 15 of Cody Barnes, 24 of Cecily Bernache, 194 of Spencer Delabrewer, and the 918 of Hunter Riley. 7 racers, 2 classes in race number 8 of the evening. Prolite Open 600 and our sport class. We're going to give our racers who just got off the track from their previous heat race just a second to make sure they are all situated and ready to go for their next heat race of the evening. Lineup looks to be good. Green light is out and away we go. 6 racers making the call. Out front to the inside, up through that intense rhythm section. We got a 3-rider battle for second, third, and fourth. Out front alone, though, early race leader going to be Wesley Ganschow on the 81X. 1 rider up and over down at the bottom of the track in turn number 1. Up at the front of the field, it's still Ganschow, Bernache, and Barnes 1, 2, 3. Let's take a look at that instant replay. It was after that start-finish line tabletop. Rider goes up and over, gets a bit of a bobble. We've been seeing that from quite a few of the racers here tonight. Getting that tough bobble from the downhill tabletop at the start-finish line jump. White flag is out. 1 more lap to go for the 81X of Wesley Ganschow, setting a blistering pace, pulling away from the 24 of Bernache in second. Bernache taking that inside line through turns 1 and 2, trying to make up for a little bit of lost time. Nothing quite going as Ganschow has set his sights on this win, wanting to put another heat race win in the books for the night. One last time, onto the front straightaway. Checkered flag is out. Ganschow going to take the win. Bernache going to finish second. Barnes rounding out your top 3. Race 9 up next. Junior novice 10-13. Heat race winner, the 41 of Cooper Barnes and the 16 of Brennan Kamau. Racing alongside in the junior 14-15 class, the 10 of Chase Meekin. 3 racers making the call for race number 9. One of our racers on the outside getting all situated. Everyone seems to be ready to go. Green light is out, and we're back to racing. Our rider on the outside rocketing out of that start-finish line gate. Out front alone and leading the charge. Looks like it was the 16 of Camo with a rocket start on that right side up through that rhythm section, pulling away from the rest of the field. First time up and over that start-finish line jump. Camo gonna put their first laps in the books. Barnes following behind in second on the 41. Meekin rounding out your top 3, leading the charge in the 14 to 15 class. Single file throughout the field as we're spreading these riders out. Onto the front straightaway. Another lap in the books for the 16 of Camo, setting another lap out there through those rollers into turn number 1 and 2. It's Camo, Barnes, Meekin, 1, 2, 3. With our novice 10 to 13-year-olds setting the pace in race number 9. Nice little battle developing there for second and third. Barnes has it, Meekin wants it. Side-by-side battle for second and third, up and over the start-finish line jump. Barnes has it on the inside. Meekin wants it on the outside. They take dual split lanes through turns 1 and 2. Slight advantage to Barnes on the inside. Meekin not having the jump he wanted out of that outside turn up through the rhythm section. Nothing going for him. It's the 41 of Barnes securing that second place spot overall. And just like that, one final time up and over the start-finish line tabletop. Checkered flag is out. Camo going to take the win, and it's going to be Barnes finishing that battle for second at the top. Meekin going to round out your top 3. Final heat race of heat number 2 coming up next. Race number 10, our Prolite Stock 600 class. Heat race winner was the 422 of Camden Duffy out of Richmond, New Hampshire. 367 of Wade Acker from Bristol, Vermont. The 8X of Ryan DuPont out of Canterbury, Connecticut. We have the 16 of Colton Gillian, the 19 of Salvatore LeBeau, the 36 of Corin Todd, 111 of Cody Ellis, and the 307 of Jake Lux. 7 riders making the call. Lights are green and away we go. 2 riders battling up front, a nice little side-by-side battle for third and fourth. Then we've got a 3-rider battle at the rear of the field. Out front alone, though, leading the charge now. First lap officially in the books for the 307 of Jake Lux. It's Lux, Aker, Duffy, 1, 2, 3. Lux wasn't even one of the podium finishers in the first heat race of this class. Now leading the charge early on in this second heat race with a blistering pace, might I add. More than a second gap between him and Aker, who's currently sitting in second, but Aker's pulling up on him, gained half a second of speed on him. Aker takes the outside side by side through 2 and 3. Up through the rhythm section, still slight advantage to the 307 of Lux on the inside. Aker not with the charge he wanted. That's going to give the 422 of Duffy a chance to move up. Duffy now up to second. Another lap in the books for Lux. Aker able to hold back on, pull back up, not going without a fight. It's side by side for second and third. Slight advantage to the 422 of Duffy. Duffy on the outside, Aker on the inside. Through that rhythm section up at the top of Tenney Mountain. The battles for second, but they're slowly but surely coming up on the leader as the 422 of Duffy triples it over that start-finish line jump. Checkered flag is out. Lux taking the W, but that real battle, Duffy finishing second, Aker third. And just like that, we're officially done with our second round of heats here for night number 1 of the Mountain Sled Fest at Tenney Mountain in Plymouth, New Hampshire. We've gone through our first 2 heat sections here. As we're going to take a quick break, we'll end up taking a quick break here before we go to our main events here momentarily. So now a quick word from our sponsors.
We're bringing Tenney back to all these youngsters in Europe. They're all new folks who have skied here before. You guys ski again. It's really an amazing mountain. We're bringing it back. And we're going to make it better than she's ever been. We get some great ideas, great plans. We're going to be building it for over 20 years. Hotels, housing, new lifts, new trails, mountain biking, disc golf, zip riding, all kinds of really cool stuff. And guys like this, we're going to bring these guys back and even more every season. You know, winter, spring, summer, fall. We got really cool events happening out here. So, welcome to Tenney Mountain. Thank you for coming. This is just the beginning. Become part of the Tenney family. Also, God bless you and thank you all. And most importantly, God bless America. Let's go!
Go home for the second place spot.
Well, Hazlett coming off of
And we are back for our final round of the night for the first day of activities here at Tenney Mountain in Plymouth, New Hampshire. We've been through our first 2 rounds of heats, and now we're moving into our main events for the evening. Ten races left on the evening. First race about to hit the track now. Looking for the clean sweep in the class, the 6X of Lucas Richardson in the Open 200 class. In the Stock 200, Cassius Wilkinson on the 217. Henry Aker on the 367 in Stock 120. And just like we've seen the rest of the evening, the 6X of Lucas Richardson setting a blistering pace there, leading this first race of the night for our main events. Through turns 3 and 4, up and over the start-finish line tabletop for the first time in the mains, Richardson leading the lap. Little bit of space before we get back to our second place racer. Wilkinson going up and over the tabletop. Our third place racer just behind. Out front alone, though, with almost half a lap advantage over our second and third place riders. Another lap in the books for the 6X of Lucas Richardson, leading the charge. Up at the top of the hill, Wilkinson sitting in second place currently, leading the 367 of Aker in third. It's Richardson, Wilkinson, Aker, 1, 2, 3. Coming up on some lap traffic, Richardson putting another lap in the books. White flag is out, one more lap to go for the 6X of Lucas Richardson. He's had a near perfect night. He's about to sweep this class. In the other class he's in, he's also looking at a sweep. He's looking to go 6 for 6 tonight on race wins. And with 2 turns left, he might just do it. One last time through turns 3 and 4. Onto the front straightaway. Checkered flag is out and flying for your first feature race winner of the night. Lucas Richardson taking the full class sweep. Win for win for win. Wilkinson gonna finish second. Race 2 up next. Looking for a clean sweep in this class in the junior 16 to 17 class. The 16 of Brennan Camo out of Nashua, New Hampshire. Alongside the 81X of Wesley Ganschow from Bethlehem, Connecticut. And in the transition 9 to 13 class, we have the 10 of Chase Meekin out of Meredith, New Hampshire, racing for HK Power Sports. Race number 2. 2 classes, 3 racers. Looks like we're going to do a quick sweep of part of the track, getting our groomer there off to the side. Two racers making it up to the lineup. Looks like it's Camo and Meekin. Meekin on that yellow Skidoo. Camo on the Polaris, the red Polaris. We're checking our riders, making sure they are all set and ready to go. Engines are revving. Sleds are singing. Lights are away, and Camo with the rocket start on the outside. And just like that, Meekin says he's going to go for it as well. Meekin's finished second every other race in this class tonight. He's hoping to not make that a clean sweep. Meekin, side by side. Looks like it's slight advantage to Camo. Camo on the inside going to tuck high. Take the line away from Meekin. Camo back up to your race lead. Camo looking for the clean sweep. Meekin looking for his first win of the night. Meekin on the inside of that rhythm section. Much smoother than the 16 of Camo. Camo having some rough spots there in the middle. They do both get up to the top of the hill, though. Meekin cutting down to the outside through the section. Not going to have it. That's going to give Camo the chance he needs to fully pull away from the 10 of Meekin. Camo out front through 1 and 2. Up through that rhythm section again. Let's see if Camo can make this through a little cleaner this time. This was definitely where Meekin was able to pull up a bit on Camo. Last lap by. Camo comes through this time around, no issues. Up and over that little roller through the inside of turns 3 and 4. Onto the front straightaway. White flag is out. One more lap to go for race leader, the 16 of Brennan Camo, looking to take the clean sweep in the junior 16 to 17 class tonight. Up through the rhythm section. Half a straightaway advantage to the 16 of Brennan Camo. One last time through turns 3 and 4. And onto the front straightaway. Checkered flag is out. The clean sweep is his as Brennan Camo takes the win. Meekin gonna round out your 2 sled field. Up next, race number 3. Again, looking for a clean sweep in this class. The 6X of Lucas Richardson. Side by side with him is the 217 of Cassius Wilkinson, racing out of Putnam Station, New York, sponsored by Wilkes Contracting, Champlain Valley Heating and Plumbing, and Diedrich's Tree Service. 2 racers in race number 3, our third main event of the evening. Now, if Richardson is able to take the win this time by, it'll end up being 6 races and 6 wins for the 6X of Lucas Richardson. 6 definitely seems to be his lucky number tonight. But will the 217 of Cassius Wilkinson be able to battle back and pull that clean sweep away from the 6X of Richardson? Richardson racing out of Barr, Vermont. Just a young 10 years old, racing the Yamaha for Fly Racing, CNA Pro Skis, and Amsoil. And it looks like we might even have a 3rd edition in this class. A newcomer. Looks like that might possibly be the 367 of Henry Acker, splitting the difference between Richardson and Wilkinson. Wilkinson on the outside, Richardson to the inside. Richardson with a nice start, pulling away early on. Richardson, your early race leader, up through that inside smooth uphill section. Richardson able to pull away with that nice start. A little bit of space back before we get to our 2nd place racer. And a little more space before we get back to our 3rd and final racer of the class. Out front alone, though, putting the first lap in the books for race number 3. Going to be the 6X of Lucas Richardson leading the charge. A little bit of space before we get back to the 217 of Cassius Wilkinson. Out front alone, though, it's still Richardson leading the charge, but we've got that nice little side-by-side battle going on between Acker and Wilkinson in 2nd and 3rd. Acker, the newcomer in this class, trying to set a name for himself by getting that 2nd place finish. Out front alone, though, white flag is out. One more lap to go for the 6X of Lucas Richardson. Richardson going through 1 and 2, up that steep backside of the hill. Acker and Wilkinson putting another lap in their books. Wilkinson now holding on to sole possession of that 2nd place. A little bit of space before we get back to the 367 of Acre. Out front alone, though, one last time onto the front straightaway. The clean sweep is in the books for him on the day. 6 race wins for the 6X of Lucas Richardson. Taking the clean sweep in the improved 200 class tonight. Wilkinson going to finish second. Acre going to round out your top 3. Race number 4 up next. Our SXF Trail class. We have the 121 of Benjamin Urso. Racing for 121 Motorsports, JoJo's Gunworks, Goodwin Performance, Addison Cable Solutions, and Rathburn Performance. We have the 69 of Matthew Parker out of Bristol, Connecticut. The 316 of Cody Bain out of Bristol, Connecticut, racing for Addison Cable Solutions, 121 Motorsports, Parker Bros & Co. and Goodwin Performance. And rounding out your 4 sled field, sponsored by ET. Wide Open Throttle Graphics, Hinks Backcountry Addicts. We got the Epping, New Hampshire native, the 127 of Mike Wynn. 4 racers, giving our track a chance to clear off after our previous race. Sleds are going to get fired up. They'll get the go-ahead from the flagger. One of our riders getting his sled refired there. Our riders are ready to go. Sleds are fired up. Green flag is out, and we are trail racing. 3 of our 4 riders making the call. Side-by-side battle up at the front. Our rider on the outside, looks like it's the 69 of Matthew Parker going from the lead back to third through that rhythm section, battling for the lead on the front straightaway. Early advantage to the 121 of Urso. Urso, your early race leader. Parker's not going without a fight, though. Muscles his way on the outside. Parker now up to the lead as Urso ducks down to the inside. Urso now your race leader up here, taking that lead back over as Parker continues to struggle through that rhythm section. Gonna backtrack to third as Bain moves up to second. Parker battles his way back, taking back ownership of that second place spot, setting his sights back on the leader. It's still Urso, Parker, Bain, 1, 2, 3. Parker gonna take the inside line this time by side with Urso. Not gonna do it though. Urso still your race leader. Parker on the inside of the rhythm section. We'll see if this works a little bit better for him than that outside line he's been taking. Gets through the rhythm section a lot smoother than the past 2 laps. Urso still with the advantage as Parker stalls it up on the top of the track. Able to get it refired, but not before losing a spot to the 316 of Cody Bain. Urso now with half a straightaway advantage over that battle for second and third, pulling away from the rest of the field. Parker back up to second place, able to secure his spot there. We're single file throughout the field, though. It's Urso, Parker, Bain, 1, 2, 3. Up and over the start-finish line tabletop. Checkered flag is out. Benjamin Urso gonna take your race win. Matthew Parker on the 69 gonna finish second. Bain rounding out your top 3. Race 5 up next. 3 classes. Heat race winner in the Pro 30 Plus class. We have the 307 of Jake Lux and the 02 of Brian Whaley. In the Pro-Am women's class, we have the 24 of Cecily Bernache out of Ackworth, New Hampshire. And rounding out your field, we have the plus 25 class, the 194 of Spencer Delabrewer, and the 58 of Luke Kearney. 5 racers about to hit the track for race number 5. 2 racers in plus 25, 2 in plus 30, 1 in Pro-Am women. One of our riders gonna go around at the start-finish line, at the starting gate, get their choice resettled, reline up a little bit, make sure they are all ready to go before we get back to some green flag action here momentarily. Now, this is definitely going to be one of the classes to watch tonight, as we have two of our money classes right here. Pro-Am women, Cecily Bernache going to take home some cash in that class for sure. And then in our plus 30 class, the money's looking to be between the 02 of Brian Whaley and the 307 of Jake Lux. 58 of Kearney readjusting their sled there over on the right-hand side, making sure they're lined up the way they want to be. We're doing a little quick grooming job here over on the outside, making sure that the front straightaway is all good to go before we get back to some green flag action. Groomer pulls off. Sleds are ready to go, and we'll be back to some green flag action here in just a second. Riders are ready to go. They're checking the lights. At the ready. Green light is out, and away we go. Side-by-side battle at the front of the field. Single file from third on back. Early race leader pulling away up at the top of the field onto the front straightaway, up and over that start-finish line tabletop. First lap in the books for the 307 of Jake Lux. Side-by-side battle between Bernache and Whaley for second and third. Kearney and Delabrewer rounding out your top five in the plus 25 class. That battle, though, is for second and third. On the inside, the yellow racer, Whaley on the Skidoo, taking over sole possession of second. It's Lux, Whaley, Bernache, 1, 2, 3. Lux pulling away from those battles ensuing behind him for second and third. Whaley setting his sights on that cash grab up front. Jake Lux leading the charge in the plus 30 class. Whaley sitting second overall, trying to take over that lead spot from the 307 of Jake Lux. A little bit of space back before we get back to the 24 of Cecily Bernache. Bernache sitting in third place overall, currently leading that Pro-Am women's class. Then we got that nice little battle for fourth and fifth overall in the plus 25 class. Kearney leading the charge. Delabrewer just behind him in second place. Up and over the start-finish line. Checkered flag is out. Jake Lux taking the win. Whaley finishing second. Bernache going to round out your top three. We're going to pull our groomer back out onto the track to do a little bit of quick track prep. And in the meantime, we'll take a quick word from some of our sponsors.
We go home for the second place spot.
Well, Hazlett coming off of
Welcome back to racing here at Tenney Mountain in Plymouth, New Hampshire, where we're about to start race number 6 of the evening. Starting off in our Sport Light class, we have the 81X of Wesley Ganschow out of Bethlehem, Connecticut, the 15 of Cody Barnes from Plaistown, New Hampshire, the 9 of Thomas Sylvester out of the Forks Pit, Maine, and in the Sport Women's class, the 58 of Claire DeRapo. Lights are out and away we go. Side-by-side battle up at the front of the field. It's the 86 of Ganshaw leading the charge up and over that left-hand corner for turns 3 and 4. Ganshaw, your early race leader. Barnes hot on his tail in second. Sylvester rounding out your top 3, and a little bit of space before we get back to the 58 of DeRapo in the sport women's class. Out front, though, with more than a second and a half advantage over the second place rider. Ganshaw putting on an absolute clinic in this sport light class. He's going for the clean sweep yet again. Quite a few of our racers have gone for that clean sweep. Looks like only one of our classes so far has seen multiple heat race winners. And Ganshaw's looking to keep that streak alive and well up through that rhythm section over on the right end of the track on that back straightaway. Coming up on some lap traffic. Ganshaw going to take that outside lane to the right past the 58 of DeRapo. Onto the front straightaway, up and over that start-finish line tabletop. Checkered flag is out for your white flag is out for your heat race winner, the 81X of Wesley Ganshaw. One more lap to go. It's Ganshaw, Barnes, Sylvester, DeRapo, 1, 2, 3, 4. And just like that, one turn separates him and a clean sweep. Checkered flag is out for your race winner, the 81X of Wesley Ganshaw, taking the win for JRC Transportation. Barnes going to finish second on the 15. Sylvester going to round out your top 3 in the sport light class. Up next, race number 8. Prolite Open 600 and Sport, your next class is up for race number 8 of the evening. Fresh off the race win, the 81X of Wesley Ganshaw looking to do yet another clean sweep in this class. Took the 2 heat race wins, looking to do the same for this first feature race of the sport class. The 24 of Cecily Bernache, 15 of Cody Barnes, 194 of Spencer De La Brewer, and the 918 of Hunter Riley round out your field in the sport class. In the Prolite Open 600 class, we have the 36 of Corin Todd and the 111 of Cody Ellis. 7 racers, 2 classes in race number 8. Sleds are going to get themselves started. Our track is clear from the previous race. Riders are checking the light. And away we go. 3 wide up through that front start. Straight away through the rhythm section. We're now down to 2 wide up at the lead. Inside rider with the slight advantage through that left-hand corner through turns 3 and 4. Still side-by-side battle. As we get onto the front straightaway, sole possession of the leadership. Gonna go to our early race leader. Ganshaw leading the way, fresh off a race win. Looking to do the same in this class. And now pulling away from that second place rider. Back onto the front straightaway. Another lap in the books for the 81 of Wesley Ganshaw. Looking to do another full clean sweep in these 2 classes. Going 6 for 6 if he's able to make it through. Nice little battle developing there for second and third as we make our way up through that rhythm section on the back end of the field. White flag is out. 1 more lap to go for Wesley Ganshaw. The Bethlehem, Connecticut native, just a young 15 years old, battling competitors all the way up to age 32. Twice his age, but showing those old fogies how it's done. One last time through turns 3 and 4 onto the front straightaway. Checkered flag is out. Ganshaw gonna take the win for JRC Transportation. And that's going to round out race number 8 for you. 2 more races left to go this evening. Race number 9 in our junior novice 10 to 13 class. We have the 41 of Cooper Barnes and the 16 of Brennan Camo. And in our junior 14 to 15 class, we have the 10 of Chase Meekin. 3 sleds, 2 classes, 2 races left to go. On night number 1 here at Tenney Mountain for our Sunday Fun Day Race Series weekend here. Kicking things off for Mountain Sled Fest. Riders at the ready. Inching forward, waiting for that green light. Lights are out and away we go. A rocket start out front. Leading the charge on the Polaris. Making his way through turns 3 and 4 onto the front straightaway. First lap officially in the books for your race leader up and over that start-finish line tabletop. Camo putting in that first lap. Camo, your early race leader. Meekin in second, Barnes in third. Nice little battle going on between our second and third place racers. Meekin, your lone competitor in the 14 to 15 class, trying to pull away from the 41 of Barnes. Barnes secured that second place overall the last 2 races. Meekin trying to make a move up on the podium here from third up to second. As the 16 of Camo puts another lap in the books. Camo making his way onto the back straightaway through that rhythm section. Up that steep hill. Battle still raging on for second and third. Meekin has it. Barnes wants it. Meekin able to pull away slightly in that rhythm section. Barnes going for the slow and steady pace. Able to hold on. But pulling away slightly. Onto the front straightaway. One last time. And just like that, turn 3 and 4. Camo going down. Camo bobbling it through that rhythm section. Going up and over his sled. He's able to get back on, but not before his competitors are able to pass him by. Finished third the rest of the evening, but he's taking the checkers tonight. Chase Meekin is going to take the W, leading the class overall in the 14 to 15 class, taking the win for HK Power Sports. Barnes going to finish second overall, taking the win in that junior novice 10 to 13 class. 16 of Camo after that tough, heartbreaking wreck, going to round out your top 3. And just like that, we're officially at our final race of the evening. Race number 10, Prolite Stock 600. Starting off on the grid, we have the 307 of Jake Lux out of Westernville, New York. The 422 of Camden Duffy from Richmond, New Hampshire, racing for JRC Transportation. DRR Transportation, Skidoo, Fly Racing, and Elite Motorsports. We have the 36-7 of Wade Aker out of Bristol, Vermont. The 8X of Ryan DuPont from Canterbury, Connecticut, racing for Team Southside. The 16 of Colton Gillian, racing for Gillian & Sons Excavating, Southside Sales. The 19 of Salvatore LeBeau out of Dalton, Massachusetts. The 36 of Corin Todd, racing for Southside Sales, Rock Speed Effects, CNA Pro Skis, Woody's, New England Racefield. And rounding out your field, the 111 of Cody Ellis, racing out of Middleton, Massachusetts for Rave X, Straight Line Performance, 850 Co, Rock Speed Effects, and CNA Pro Skis. We're going to give our groomer a chance to back off the track there before we get back to our final race of the evening. You've been through 2 rounds of heats, 9 feature races, and we're on the last step of the day, ladies and gentlemen. Night number 1 about to be officially in the books. But not before we do a little Prolite Stock 600 racing. Groomer pulling off the side of the track. We'll let our racers start their sleds. Sleds have been fired up as we get ready for one final green flag race of the night. Starter checks the line, makes sure our racers are good to go. Lights are out and away we go. We are pro racing at Tenney Mountain. Up through that steep rhythm section. 3 riders out front alone, pulling away from the rest of the field. Onto the front straightaway, up and over that start-finish line tabletop. First lap officially in the books for race leader, the 367 of Wade Acker. It's Acker, Duffy, Lux, 1, 2, 3. LeBeau, DuPont, Gillian, and Ellis following behind in 4th through 7th. Side-by-side battle at the front of the field. Another lap in the books for Acker. It's Acker, Duffy, Lux, 1, 2, 3, as we make our way onto the back straightaway through that rhythm section. Through turns 3 and 4 onto the front straightaway. Another lap in the books for the 367 of Wade Acker, setting the charge. Acker, Duffy, Lux, LeBeau, Gillian, DuPont, Ellis, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Single file throughout the field. Our top 3 competitors, top 4 competitors all closing in on each other through turns 3 and 4 onto the front straightaway. White checkered flag is out. Wade Acker gonna take the win on the 367. Camden Duffy gonna finish 2nd. Lux gonna round out your top 3. Gillian, LeBeau, DuPont, and Ellis rounding out the rest of the field. And just like that, we're officially at the end of our night. Final checkered flag has been thrown. As a reminder, this was night number 1 of 3 for our Mountain Sled Fest here at Tenney Mountain in Plymouth, New Hampshire. We will be back again bright and early tomorrow morning as we have practice at 11 a.m. Eastern Time. Hillcross Racing begins at 11:30 a.m. Eastern. Quite a few different races going on there, some short track, long track. And then we'll be back again tomorrow night as well for some more Snowcross and Sunday Fun Day racing. As a reminder, I will see you guys all back here where we will be streaming live yet again from Tenney Mountain at 11:30 a.m. Eastern Time. Good night, everybody, and thank you all for stopping in.
We're bringing Tenney back to all these youngsters we love. They're all new folks who've seen here before. Because seeing again, it's really an amazing mountain. We're bringing it back. We're going to make it better than she's ever been. We get some great ideas, great plans. We're going to be building it for over 20 years. Hotels, housing, new lifts, new trails, mountain biking, disc golf, zip lining, all kinds of really cool stuff. And guys like this, we're going to bring these guys back and even more every season. You know, winter, spring, summer, fall. We have really cool events happening out here. So, welcome to Tenney Mountain. Thank you for coming. This is just the beginning. Become part of the Tenney family. I want to say God bless you and thank you all. And most importantly, God bless America. Let's go!
Freight is the backbone of the country, and as long as people need goods, they're going to need somebody to get it to them. My name is Matt Bohl with QualityFreightRate.com, powered by T-Force Worldwide. We provide LTL, truckload, and expedited freight services across this country. If your freight weighs over 120 pounds going over 120 miles, that's where my shipping rates kick in. We help companies ship easier for less. With our system, our customers are able to quote and book shipments with ease 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. If you're having trouble with damages, lost freight, claims of any sort, we can help you with our experience, solve the problem, tell you why it's happening and what you should do to prevent it in the future. Me and my team have been together for over 20 years. We know this industry. We can help all size business, big or small, we love them all. But we have a special spot for small business. Small businesses are pillars in the community. Low rates are critical for a small business because the margins are generally pretty small. They need to have competitive rates. They can't be getting gouged or they lose the sale. Freight is simple. People make it difficult. We work as consultants in the industry, so it doesn't matter what your problem is, we'll solve it. We educate the customers, we solve problems, and we lower their shipping rates. And that's what I've been doing for 20 plus years.
My name is John O'Connor. I'm a snowboarder for life and a business owner in Windham, New York. We run a restaurant and inn here. This is our backyard. Having a backyard park is really special because being able to snowboard at home and not have to get in the car, go to a resort, wait in a line, is your own creative space to do whatever you want, however you want. You're in your element. You're right at home, and it's a really good feeling when you can tune into the space around you with you and your friends and just make something special of it. The Tow Pro has helped my vision come to life with where I would like to take the backyard setup, and without it, it wouldn't be the same. It's the most easy to use, compact, portable, reliable rope tow that you can buy. It's the best thing that I own as far as what gives me happiness in life. Without it, it's not the same when you're hiking. To be able to keep riding and feel like you're snowboarding, that's what it's all about. And the Tow Pro has made that happen.
You go home for the second place spot.
Well, Hazlett coming off of
My two passions in life is racing and selling good high-end meat. So my grandfather came here from Germany back in the late 20s. He decided to open his own shop in 1951. He had all the recipes, he had all the talent. His father was a meat guy. His father's father was a butcher. They weren't football players, basketball players. They were in the meat business. And that's our family. That's what we're good at. Old World Meats was derived from Frank's Meats. That was my grandfather's name. I know the quality of my beef is the best because I've purchased it directly from the ranchers that certified Angus beef. We know what our beef is continuously and it's very consistent. So we're located up here in Duluth on beautiful Lake Superior, just a stone throw off of Highway 61. I've lived here my whole life, and it's where I wanted to raise my family. To be successful, you need to have a talent. And I knew I was going to be in the meat business. I can taste spices, I can pick out flavors, where they need to come in, where they need to stop. So knowing your strengths are important and knowing where you came from. We have a hot snack stick that's got actually 8 different spices of heat in that, and it layers the flavors in the heat. That's what makes the difference with our product. The most exciting part was becoming coast to coast with the Old World Meats snack sticks. My neighbor stopped me on the street and said, "Paul, I was just down in Georgia and this gas station had your product." It was one of the highlights of the year. I don't know of a state at this point that we haven't had product in. Being in business in a small town really puts things into perspective. It's the little things for me to be appreciated and respected. So this whole operation here, it doesn't have to be the biggest, but it needs to have passion. And today, I'm changing lives of people that work with me. My guys are learning lifelong skills and values. That's the good stuff. Let's make the world a better place. Let's have a good time at it.
When you've got to ship it from anywhere to anywhere,
QualityFreightRate.com.
the LTL Freight Logistics Specialist for your small business.
QualityFreightRate.com.
We simplify shipping, eliminate those surprise charges, and negotiate the best rates from most LTL qualified carriers.
QualityFreightRate.com.
Special residential and liftgate rates available for automotive and ag implements.
QualityFreightRate.com.
Use the promo code ICE and get 10% off your first shipment. Startup is so easy. Get a quote and ship today. QualityFreightRate.com.
We're bringing Tenney back to all these youngsters in Europe. They're all new folks who've seen here before. You guys see it again. It's really an amazing mountain. We're bringing it back. And we're going to make it better than she's ever been. We get some great ideas, great plans. We're going to be building it for over 20 years. Hotels, housing, new lifts, new trails, mountain biking, disc golf, zip riding, all kinds of really cool stuff. And guys like this, we're going to bring these guys back and even more every season. You know, winter, spring, summer, fall. We got really cool events happening out here. So, welcome to Tenney Mountain. Thank you for coming. This is just the beginning. Become part of the Tenney family. So God bless you and thank you all. And most importantly, God bless America. Let's go!